The Skylark's cowl project continues in this part too, with slightly more issues found. That's great, so I'll be doing more cutting than planned. With the fenders and dash out of the way, I'm excited to cut out the cowl and see what's below. We'll find a nasty surprise and also make a design improvement to the cowl drainage. But there are critical steps and things to watch out for to avoid failure, so let's jump into it. Now, before tearing into something invasive like this, it's best to go in with a strategy. At a high level, here's what I've come up with in case I ever have to do this again. Step 1, dry fit the windshield, check fit to body metal around the whole perimeter, note any large gaps, if any. I do this with the new and old windshields, my newer glass fit better. Step 2, measure cowl position in these areas, fore, aft, cross car. I kind of did this after I cut it out, but no biggie. I would do it prior to cutting. Step 3, remove the cowl with the spot weld cutter. Get a good one, don't cheap out on it. Step 4, dry fit the new cowl, lower windshield channel and the windshield. Step 5, drill locating holes in the cowl and channel once cowl position is good and the windshield channel fits good to the windshield. There'll always be a little bit of finessing, these aren't OEM parts. Step 6, repair the lower cowl. Mine was complete trash. Finally, step 7, reassemble the whole mess and crack a cold one. Alright, we're back. So what I got going on here is I just set the windshield on just to kind of see what metal's left down here, how that interfaces with the glass, just to make sure, ideally, right, everything should be contacting all the way around, all the metal should, but we know cars probably weren't dimensionally the best back then, so I just wanted to get a sense check on making sure all this was kind of where it should be, and it looks like it is. So after I cut out the cowl and I'm placing everything back in, we'll do some dry fits and use the windshield as a template to kind of make sure my forward aft movement on the cowl and the reinforcer are relatively where they should be. Everything looks okay. I'm going to pop the glass out and put some visqueen over this, tape it up in case all the grinding and cutting and whatnot doesn't get the interior more of a disaster than it already is. All right, let's get to her. So there really wasn't any what I would call paint shop sealer over here, so I got really nothing to worry about. But instead of scraping all this off and exposing where the spot welds are, I'm just going to work on the edges, get this loose, then as I'm flexing it, I'll probably see where the spot welds, well, I guess I could see it. You see a lot of them already. But the ones that are kind of hidden underneath the sealer, if any, I'm sure I'll see the indentation will manifest and I'll know where to drill it. So I'm going to start here on the edges and get rid of these spot welds because this cowl slides underneath here, this outer forward hinge pillar, whatever you want to call it. Mother Nature detached this for me already, so we're all set there. All right, I'll start drilling, see how it goes. Got my spot weld drilled her doohickey. She's all prepped, ready to go, lock and loaded. The needle, it's got the guide needle pin, if you will, right yonder in the middle. So that'll keep it straight and actually compresses in, keep you in one spot so she's not jumping around. Oh shit. Excited to try it out. I saw some rust flying, so I must be through. Alright, making progress. So the workflow here is we'll identify where the spot welds are. They kind of manifest like that. Find the center of the hole and hit it with a punch. Make an indentation so your spot weld cutter isn't jumping around. So I've just been using a drill bit, doing my best to only go into the first layer, and then come back, spot weld cutter, find home, and that's what she looks like. So on the passenger side, I'm going to drilling these out to just lift it enough to where when the new one comes in I can slide it in. We'll have to find out and see what this is welded to underneath. I don't know how far back this goes. Cross that bridge when we get there, but this is all loose going across, but it's still sticking this firewall area, but we'll get to that. So we're just gonna keep working across, do the same thing we did over here to the other side. Clock's kind of ticking tonight, but we'll see if we try to get this off tonight. Yeah. All right, making some progress. The way top plenum was laying down, and then the lower plenum shingle was sticking out a little bit further. Then you got the edge of the firewall flange. So, and the sealer that was on here kind of covered it up. So I started prying up where the lower plenum was, and just had to readjust. Come back over here where I knew where the top plenum or cowl ended, and then started working my way back that way, because I didn't feel like trying to scrape all that sealer off, if that makes sense. So yeah, it was just critical just to make sure I was only prying up on the top plenum, not the lower one. Coming over here, this side has a lot more spot welds than the other side. Must have been the operator on this side of the vehicle probably going through the body shop. I don't think they had robots then. So working my way up here, and then I think we're at the point now, got to start picking away at up here on the hinge pillar. It's all scaly, rusty, but so I'd call that a good night. We'll try to pick it up tomorrow if we got time. See what the kiddos are doing. Yeah, good progress tonight. Happy with that. I got the tarp over the engine so none of the metal shavings get on it, trying to keep it clean. We'll see how ambitious and how much time I got if I'll take the wheelhouses off and just spruce them up a little bit with some paint. All right, time to turn in. Got my wider lens on, but it's lower quality, but it's a little bit easier to work with being so close. So we're picking out all the welds. You can see here there's a few on what looks like some piece that comes rearwards. I guess we'll find out when we get it off. I've never pulled one off before, so I'm not sure what to expect. But just from prying up a little bit, these started to manifest a little bit. So I hit them with the grinder and I can see them. And on the other side, you can see here on the driver's side, yeah, I didn't know these were here till I was prying up, and it didn't want to come off. And then I could see the metal start bending where it was still welded. So then I ground this area, and then I found these other spot welds. So this side's loose. Pull that up. So now we just got to hit these last few right here, and this thing should come out. We're still hung up right here. I gotta cut a little bit right here. There she is. Junk. All right, let's see what we got here. Damn. Holy smokes. Yeah, it's like a whole rat's nest down there. way down there, which means that's probably gonna be clogged. So this is where all the water comes in, your water management system. Drains down yonder, and yeah, that's there's quite a bit. Yep, this is driver's side, if it'll focus. Bunch of junk down there too. Down yonder. Really didn't want to take this off. That's all rotted down there. I don't know how much new ones of those are. So I'm gonna have to grind. A lot of spot welds, and I can't really get at it straight. Unless I just do this side and peel it out and then close it in like a door. I'll have to think about that one. Lower plenum looks really good. So this plate that's on the firewall, that looks like this would be a locating hole. But this already comes in here. So maybe before I pull this one off, I'll try to find a way to zero in where this is supposed to be, forward, aft, and cross car. That way when the new one goes on, I can put that in almost the exact same spot. I say almost because nothing's perfect. And then, yeah, I have to draw those out and swing this out. Cut a couple notches in there to open it up. Yeah. Here's what the lower windshield frame looks like. Grab a part number here. Auto Metal Direct. And this will lay on top of the cowl and connect to the dash panel. I'm not sure if that was all one piece. The dash panel to the lower windshield frame. I'm not sure. It came with these other pieces too. Not sure what those are. And then here's the new versus old. I think I got this one off Jugs. Yeah, this one just Chevelle 68 to 69 cowl. I'm not sure why it wasn't advertised, it's just GMA body. Was watching a video on YouTube. Dude has a GTO, and this hole is in a different location than the Chevelle and the Skylark, because this is for a Chevelle and this is the same distance as mine. I don't have to move that, so that's looking good. So back to more disassembly here. If you look down yonder, yeah, that looks a little utchy in there. I'm gonna go ahead and take this whole thing off. It's got to come off anyways, and probably on the inside too. I think I got to take that heater box out, because right where this hole is right where the defroster vents are. So whenever this rained outside, all the rain and whatever else just went right down into the HVAC box on the inside. So that's probably why the bottom of the HVAC box is nice and crusty and falling apart. So that's probably gonna have to need a little repair too. So we'll go ahead and pop this off. One last fastener, like right down here, that's hard to get to, so I'm just gonna take this off. There's only 2 bolts back here. Right there, by my fingertips. And luckily this was all rotted out, so I only had 1 bolt. Sure to got that out, it's underneath. Just go ahead and take this off. That there, minor details. Man, this stuff comes apart like, it's pretty nice. Versus the old Forge, you know, you got your welded inner aprons and no room to work on stuff. Yeah, this just turned me into a GM guy. All right, get that last fastener off. What the hell was that too? I don't know. Wire off. Ah, that's disgusting. Damn. Oh, wait a minute. Am I missing one? Ah, damn. There was one more. Put some cardboard down there. Oh, look at that. Nice. Holy smokes. That mouse was hard at work. No wonder why the seats have no more cushion in them. Jeez. Alright, put the camera down. Let's take two hands. So I drilled out all the spot welds all the way down yonder, and I can't really get at these spot welds. So because I can't get to these spot welds, I just made a cut here, then going straight down. So I got this off. This is all rotted down there on the bottom. So all I'm going to do here is I got some sheet metal laying around, and I'll just give it a 90 and then just run a new strip down. Just be a quick repair. So down here on the bottom, this is what I'm going to do on the other side. Just here to focus. So there was metal here, but I cut it out. And that little hole right there is where all your water is supposed to drain. You had like a really heavy rainfall, that little guy will for sure struggle. And then you throw leaves and sticks and everything else that collects down there, and yeah, good luck. Never gonna drain. So we're gonna make a design improvement and just cut this bottom out here and just let it flow straight out. So up top here, there you go. Right here. Bing, bing, bing. So that'll be a design improvement. That tip's free. So we're gonna get that there fixed, and then up here, get some more light. Son of a. So here on the top of the hinge pillar, there's some rot right through here. No big deal. So it looks like the hinge pillar comes up here, and then the lower plenum sits on top. Right here in the middle is where the windshield channel is missing, and there's some rot right through here. So I think I'm going to cut this area out first and then burn in some new metal. That way I kind of have a reference here to here on how high it should be, because I don't want to just cut all this out and then I have no idea where it's supposed to be, forward, aft, up, down. So I'll probably just cut this section first, get that into position, and then attack this right here. And then I'm still trying to figure out what to do for the rest. My thought is, so we got some rot here, so I'm thinking just doing sections. I'm going to do sections, and I don't know how wide yet, but I'll just, for example, if I cut this section out, and then I'll just put a new piece in and make sure it's level with both sides, so I know it's in the exact same location, and then just do that all the way down. Alright, throw the cowl up here for a second. So this top plenum was probably originally welded to that, and then I believe, which now I got my replacement window channel, that'll go right there. I think back in the day this was all one piece. Not sure, correct me if I'm wrong. But then this came down on top of the top plenum, just like this will. So this is a flimsy piece. This is nice and rigid. So I think that's why it's critical when I burn in new metal here that I got to make sure this is in the right spot. Otherwise, if it's not, the cowl is probably going to get sucked to that. And if that's out of shape, this is going to be out of shape. And then when the channel goes on, they're just going to be fighting each other. Got to be a little methodical about that. We'll see how it goes. And then I got to figure out how all this kind of ties in over here. Basically, at the end of the day, though, we just want to make sure the surface from here where the windshield is and here where the channel starts is relatively in the same spot that it was prior. And I got a good look at how the windshield looked when it was sitting on there. So before we get too far along, once we get these components in, we'll do a fit with the windshield and see how everything's coming in. And then if everything's looking good, we'll finish burning everything in. And then we'll put the sides back on. So it's kind of, those are my thoughts right now. All right, till next time.
Daddy won't cry.
So do I. Go talk to your mother. If you happen to enjoy this, even just a little,
Give it a like.
next I'll be locating the new Cowl windshield channel and start fixing the lower cowl. So come on back.
Click subscribe, people.
That's right, buddy. Hey, no power tools. Hey, no power tools.
Everything.